Hi everybody! Welcome to another episode of Sneak in Some Science with Miss Mercury. On today's episode, we'll be talking about bubbles. Bubbles are so fascinating and neat, and I'm sure that many of you, sometime in your lives, have blown a bubble. So what are bubbles? What are they all about? Well, bubbles are pretty basic. You have water, soap, and air. Those are the three major components of a typical bubble. When you blow a bubble, the air that comes from your mouth goes through a circle or a wand of some sort, and it creates an air pocket around a thin layer of soap and water. So each one of our bubbles is like a pocket full of air. The soap and the water that make the layer outside of the air pocket have surface tension, so the bubble can stay intact. Now, the cool thing about bubbles is that they can be found in the air, so I can blow bubbles in the air. We can also find bubbles in many other places too. You may have noticed that some of the foods or things that you drink, like seltzers or sodas and things like that, those can also have bubbles. And of course, we can make bubbles if we have a fun bath. So I searched around and did a couple of different things to help you out. You can definitely buy bubble materials in a supermarket or a local corner store or a dollar store or something like that. But I also wanted to check out some of these hacks that I found online of making your own bubbles. So there's a couple of things that they all have in common. The first thing that bubble recipes have in common is water. So most times they ask for something called distilled water, which is just a way of cleansing or cleaning the water, but I just use tap water for my experiment, and I have it at room temperature. The other major ingredient that you need to have for your bubble recipe is some dish soap, and most websites recommend using Dawn Blue dish soap. And the third major ingredient to make bubbles would be a material called glycerin, but it says if you don't have glycerin, you can use light corn syrup. And so I found this light corn syrup. I tried out 3 recipes total. So one recipe over here, and I've food colored it with a little bit of red so we could see the difference. This recipe right here just has water, light corn syrup, and the dish soap, just in this one right here. This center one is a little different. I thought it was kind of unique and fun because it called for some additional ingredients. So outside of water, dish soap, and using this corn syrup, it also said to add baking powder and cornstarch. So I tried it, and we'll see what happens. This third recipe, which I also colored just because it was very clear, I made it blue. This recipe includes water, the corn syrup, and this Dawn dish soap, but one additional ingredient was supposed to make it that much better: sugar. So I added some sugar as well. Oh well, worth a try, right? So let's check out these hacks, these recipes. I have these wands that I got from different kits, so I will check them out and we'll see if they work. So let's just do the original one just to compare it. This is the original bubble solution. Put it in this little cup. So the neat thing about bubbles is that a lot of times when we blow our bubble, we notice that the bubble takes this circular shape. Ooh, that's a good one. It takes a circular shape. And the reason why is that the soap that's around the outside of the bubble is pushing inward, and the air on the inside from my breath is pushing outward. So it automatically takes up this circular shape. Are there ways that you can make bubbles different shapes? There are. Let's see if you can do it later on. So once again, let's look at the bubbles from our store brand bubble solution. Oh, that one got me in the face. Aha. Okay, let's try number 1, our mixture that has, stir it up a little bit, our mixture that has just 3 simple ingredients: water, the light corn syrup, and the dish soap. Whoa, that was a big bubble. So what about the bubbles popping? Well, definitely it makes sense if something sharp pokes at it, it's going to pop. But naturally, bubbles will slowly evaporate. The water that's inside of that layer eventually is going to evaporate because the air is really dry, and so the moisture will come out of it and it can pop that way. It'd be interesting to see if bubbles last in maybe more humid or wet conditions or drier conditions. And another thing that can make bubbles pop is simply when they land on something that is more dry than the air around them. So your hands, the table, the camera, anything that's more dry, it's definitely gonna make it pop. All right, so this is a really good solution. I like this. Good bubble solution. All right, let's try number 2, this one in the center. This one has the additional ingredients of the baking powder and also the cornstarch. So let's see what this is like. It's a lot thicker. Definitely makes a sphere there, making a big mess. It's definitely kind of gooey. Oop, that wasn't good. Whoa. Well, that's not fun. It seems to pop right away. I'm not really happy with this one. Oh, there's one that stuck. All right, well, it works, but I'm not surprised that it works because we use those main ingredients, but there's nothing super special about it. Let's try the last one. This one right here, don't forget, we added blue food coloring so we could tell the difference between the first and the third. And then also we added in some sugar. Sounds delicious, but I'm not gonna eat this, drink this. Very drippy. Doesn't seem to be working very well. There we go, there's a bubble. And it's going right down at the bottom. So definitely not as bubbly and fun as this first one, which is super simple. So there you have it. You don't need to go too crazy with any of these recipes, just keep it simple. So I've also heard about these super bubbles where you can add 1 ingredient. Well, I don't know about you, but if I could add 1 more ingredient, I'd add a little bit more of the light corn syrup because this is probably going to give it that thickness into that wall or that layer that goes around the bubbles. Maybe you should try it. Bubbles can be so much fun, and now that you know a simple recipe that you can use to make your bubbles, well, you should check it out. So what other experiments can you do with your bubbles? Well, we've actually just looked at different ingredients to make the bubble ingredients, but could you try something else? That'd be really interesting. Some other fabulous ideas to try. Well, have you ever heard of bubble art? If you're outside, you can put different colored food coloring in your bubbles. You could make your bubbles and then maybe have a nice piece of white paper there. And as the bubbles go and pop on the white paper, you can make some bubble art. You could also check out different types of wands that you can make and see if you can't make your bubbles larger or smaller or unique and unusual depending on your wand that you create or design. Another thing that you can try to do is make different shapes. I mean, when bubbles appear, can you make them into a different shape than a circle? That would be pretty neat to try. Another fun thing would be tricks. What kinds of tricks can you do with bubbles? Can you make the most bubbles come out in a short amount of time with the same wand? Also, can you make a really, really big bubble last for a really long time? You could also get out some timers and see how long your bubbles last. I think it's time for me to go outside and have a little fun with bubbles. All right, everybody, my favorite part of the episode where we phone a science enthusiast. So I have a great person that we're going to be calling up today. Let's hear a little bit more about them and find out why they're a science enthusiast. Let's ring them up.
Hi, my name is Joel.
Hi, Joel. How are you?
Good.
Good. How old are you?
I'm 12.
And where do you live?
I I live in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Love it. And Joel, are you a science enthusiast?
Yeah, I like baseball.
You like baseball? Well, that's awesome. Actually, just recently we did a whole episode on softball. I'm sure you caught it. If my viewers did not catch it, they definitely can go back and review it and check it out. You know, what kinds of things do you see when it comes to baseball and science?
When you pitch, you have to, there's different ways you can throw the ball and how to throw it.
Awesome. And you actually do a little bit of pitching too, don't you?
Yeah, a little.
And what kind of pitching did you learn how to do?
I can throw knuckleballs, fastballs, changeups.
Okay, I've never heard of a knuckleball before. Well, I've heard of a knuckleball, but I'll be honest, I don't know what that is. What does that mean, a knuckleball?
When you hold the ball, you hold it with your knuckles.
Okay, and what does that do? What does that do to the bat? Like as the ball comes towards the batter, how does that have an impact on how the batter sees the ball or something like that?
When the ball's coming at you, it doesn't spin at all, so you don't know where it's gonna go.
Ah, it's a sneaky pitch. Okay, the sneaky pitch. Got it. That's really cool. And then I've heard that you are a fantastic batter. What's your secret? What is the secret to being an excellent batter?
When you swing, you should push from your back foot and twist your waist so you get momentum.
Okay. I love it. I was even going to ask you why, but you said it. So it's momentum. So it's a flowing kind of movement. Now, do you think that you swing the same every time you're up at bat?
Sometimes you have to do a different swing depending on where the ball is going.
Okay. And so I know when you swing and you miss, it's called a strikeout. Tell me a little bit more about, for anyone that doesn't really know baseball out there, what happens when you really just get an amazing hit and you contact the ball at just the right spot?
You hit a home run.
You hit a home run. Joel, are you kind of known for those?
Yeah.
All right. That's what we're talking about. Awesome. Got to give you props for that. So, Joel, what kinds of stuff, what are your plans for the rest of the summer? Are you going to be able to sneak in anything fun? I know we're socially distancing and kind of staying at home, but anything that you might be able to do with your family?
We want to try to go to the zoo at some point.
Oh, that would be really cool. It's been a long time since I've been to the zoo too, but that's a good activity to do where you can be socially distant. And then what are you looking forward to most this fall?
Getting to see my friends that I haven't seen in a while.
I can imagine. Well, of course, do it safely and enjoy baseball this summer. I hope you have a fantastic time at the zoo. Hopefully you can go. And I really wish you the best as you head back to school, whatever that looks like. Thanks so much for being a science enthusiast. And everybody, remember, science every day. Joel, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. So, science enthusiasts, we love to end every episode with some positive vibes. I want you to think about some wicked awe moments. Things that you see as you walk around and do things that just make you go, ah, like that. So, there's so many things around us that give us these awe-inspiring moments. Find one. And then what I want you to do is capture it. There's so many different ways you can capture awe-inspiring moments. It can be through a picture, like photography. You can draw it. You can record it. You can act it out. You can write a poem or a song about it. But anything that you decide to see and capture anyway, share it. Because what is awe-inspiring to you can definitely uplift others too. Once again, thank you so much, everybody, for joining in the show. Thanks to Joel for being our science enthusiast. I had such a fabulous time looking at bubble recipes and blowing bubbles. I hope you do the same. Capture those amazing and awe-inspiring moments. Join us next time for an episode of Sneak in Some Science with Miss Mercury. I'll catch you later. Bye. Need my fan. This one's not very good at all. Yay! Yay! Ooh, is this non-toxic? Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sneak in Some Science! Business Mercury. Wait. Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Sneak in Some. Forgot to do this. I'm recording an episode, which now you're on it. Oh yeah, you get to be on it now.
My neighbors must think I'm a weirdo.